Hey, Big A, what's going on with Xbox? I'm glad you asked, because I just remember the password to the Big A account. And I want to tell you, video games, an industry we all know and love. And from the outside, it seems to be doing pretty well. There's tons of games releasing, in fact, more than ever on Steam and PlayStation. The global games revenue just broke a new record of $200 billion in 2025, which, by the way, in case you're doing the math, is bigger than movies and music combined ×3. Gaming has won. It has achieved global domination. We all play games. Your mom plays games. Your grandma plays games. Everybody plays games. It's huge. And yet, people are looking around and asking, if that's the case, if things are so good, why is every gaming company shooting themselves in the face? And so I want to dive into this. Now, each of these individual companies we're going to talk about, and they all have their own unique executive missteps, quirks, bad decisions that are causing gamers to scratch their heads in confusion and get angry. But there is some larger mega trends. You know how like you might be a parent trying to fight against illiteracy in your kids, and then the mega trend of phones shows up and makes it really hard? Some things are bigger than an individual company. And there are some massive mega trends that are the final boss squeezing every game company at once and forcing them into worse decisions they'd like to make, okay? So we're gonna break those down first and then talk about their individual failures. The mega trends that are all happening right now are number 1, Sam Altman, number 2, China, number 3, Roblox, okay? These 3 combined are causing every game company to be like, oh no, what do we do? Break it down really simply. Sam Altman, we've talked about this before. Sam Altman showed up a few years back and said, I want 40% of the world's memory and I'll give you an IOU. And then every other AI company followed suit. Why did they do this? So I could generate AI images of Sam Altman holding memory with giant glizzy fingers. That's why they did it, okay? There hasn't been a real revenue-based purpose yet. That caused the price of RAM to skyrocket, and that affects not just people who are building a PC from scratch, but anyone buying a pre-built PC, buying a video game console, buying a phone, buying a laptop. All of these things are seeing their price rise. And as we enter into a world, larger societal trend, where there's less and less third spaces because they're all getting so expensive, a lot of people, sad to say, are turning more towards gaming as a social outlet, as a entertainment outlet, where you can get a lot of hours of entertainment for relatively low cost. All of that is being squeezed. At the exact same time as all of this is happening, driving people towards gaming, all the gaming consoles at once, because of RAM, are raising their prices. This is a mega trend. This is bigger than any individual company's like unique greed or quirks or bad decisions. This is causing a problem for all of them. Secondly, China. Now, we've talked about China before, but let's take a step back to your childhood. For most of you, your gaming childhood is like around the late 2000s, 2010, let's say. And if you flash back to 2010, this is the gaming industry. It's primarily consoles, a little bit of PC, and a growing, but still relatively small mobile industry. That's what gaming was. So if you're a gaming company, the primary thing you focus on is making good games for consoles. That's where the games money is. This is the games industry today. Console sales are basically flat since that time. PC has grown quite a bit, and mobile has become gargantuan. That is where the primary consumer is. And one of the first countries to jump into this full force is China. And their developers started to lead the way on gacha mechanics and monetization and mobile gaming and mobile esports and all of that. And they've started to take these things and apply them to even games outside of mobile. So if you look at the actual stats, this becomes a big problem. I'm not saying China invented these things or is the reason that we're all mobile gaming. I'm saying the growth in gaming right now is primarily coming from China spend. And the thing about Chinese consumers is they primarily want to play games made by Chinese developers. This is the percent, okay? In 2025, the vast majority of Chinese spend went to Chinese developers. And the part that goes to non-Chinese developers, this little bit left over, you have to partner with a Chinese company to be allowed to sell it there. For example, if you're PUBG or Rocket League or NBA 2K, you can't sell in China. You need to partner with Tencent and give them a percent. So if the majority of the growing game spend is coming from Chinese consumers and you are a non-Chinese dev, your options to make money is pretty limited. And that has allowed Tencent to become the largest gaming company on planet Earth. They, for example, have bought Riot Games, Supercell, Epic Games, huge parts of Activision Blizzard, we can't say which, and a percent of Ubisoft. They own a ton of other major developers. Additionally, for a while, developers based primarily in like California and Canada had a ironclad lock on one skill that no one else could match. They were the only ones in the world that had the talent, the expertise, the background to create a Focus M type game. I'm sort of exaggerating, joking, but there was an expertise that was baked in. But over the past decade or two, a lot of other countries, China included, have caught up. They've learned how to make games. Black Myth Wukong is a great example of a AAA level game that is made outside of the traditional AAA studios. And this means that because salaries are so much more expensive in North America and Canada, game employees are being squeezed by the fact that they're getting laid off for cheaper alternatives in China and in Eastern Europe. This is where like over half of all layoffs are coming from California and the rest of North America. This is where the layoffs are coming from, and they're being rehired more cheaply in like Poland and China to create games because the expertise is now moved worldwide. The first thing I talked about, the Sam Altman thing, is why everything's getting more expensive. This thing, this Poland and China thing, is why there's so many layoffs. And the third thing, Roblox, is why so many games are getting canceled or getting shifted into live service. Roblox is a game that if you're not playing it, you probably think is for little kids or adults who have this haircut and are YouTubers. But it turns out that over half of Roblox players now are over 17. Many are over 25. Roblox is becoming a lifelong game for people that grew up with it. They're playing it a ton, probably also pedophiles. And if you look at revenue growth, because again, I said at the beginning, I said gaming broke a revenue record, 200 billion. But all the revenue growth in the past few years, a huge chunk of it is coming from Roblox. 60% of the spend growth by gamers outside of China since 2021 is Roblox. Look at this. People are spending more and more time in these single games that can do everything. Whether it's Fortnite, whether it's maybe you're a long-term League of Legends player that plays TFT, generally it's Roblox. They're becoming these mega games where all of the money and talent's being siphoned into. And it's really specific for a game like Roblox because in this game, they can create other games. So Roblox, devs are noticing that when they make any type of game that goes viral, Roblox copies it and they get the money. Somebody in Roblox will make a copy and then the money goes there and the people don't have to leave. For example, maybe Get to Work. Maybe a game that I helped publish gets shown up there. But even recent hits. So Mecha Chameleon's a game you probably heard of. Every streamer's playing it. Sold 15 million copies. It's done remarkably well for itself. As of right now, there is more player base playing Roblox clones, of which there are 26 of Mecha Chameleon, than actually playing Mecha Chameleon. It has been ripped off so quickly by 26 different clones, and they have a higher player base. The number of people in the Roblox ecosystem is massive, and they are charging, and they're adding microtransactions, and all of that money is flowing outside of the developer's pocket. So all of this makes it so that any big investor, any big game company is extremely afraid of building anything other than a huge live service game or a small developer making an indie game. Outside of that, that middle ground is sort of getting wiped out. It's much harder to get away with. So now you understand the mega trends. That does not mean these game developers are absolved from stupid decisions. In fact, when faced with great challenges, you should think a lot and make smart decisions. In fact, they have not. So let's go into it. Xbox, starting with Xbox. Xbox is facing these challenges, and for the past few months, a lot of people have said they're really starting to handle them. Xbox is back. People were saying Xbox is back. They got a new CEO. The new CEO of Xbox may turn out to be the savior of the product. God bless her. We are Xbox. 2.4K upvotes. The best new CEO that Xbox bros will still find a way to hate? Look at all the things she's done, okay? Even on my own damn podcast.
I thought it was interesting because I've been seeing a little thing circulate on my Gaming is Back timeline that the new Xbox
GIB.
CEO, Asha, she is apparently killing it.
She's killing it. Look at my face. Look at my face. I mean, but look at what she did. She did a Twitter poll to change the name from Xbox to capital Xbox. That's a real rebrand. That's huge. She announced a roster of new Xbox exclusives.
How about those exclusives?
Woo! You hear the guy in the back shouting more because this was the roster. It was just Gears of War and Clockwork Revolution in 2027. That is the roster. She lowered the prices of Xbox Game Pass after a extremely unpopular price raise. But if you do the math, it was $20 and they made it $30 with Call of Duty. And then they lost millions of subscribers. Everyone was mad, so they dropped it to 23 and removed Call of Duty. So it's really just a $3 price raise and less option. It's not that great. It's like, I get that you are responding to fan pushback, but it's not like an incredible deal. And then they released the see-through Xbox Series 25 limited edition. And this was cool. I mean, she did.
The green 25th anniversary. Well, this is my first showcase. I know that so many of you have been here with us for the last 25 years. So if you look down and you have fan on your badge, you will be getting one for free later this year.
Woo! People at that event that were fans got a free console. That is cool, don't get me wrong. Listen, all of these things at the margin are nice. It's like an attempt to like connect with the audience. But all of this time while this is happening, I'm thinking, okay, okay, but you haven't changed anything about the business. Can I push back on this?
No, maybe.
Let me do like a big, like you finish, I guess. Okay. I dropped the Big A clip saying the Xbox comeback is a mirage. And it's not her fault specifically. I'm not saying Xbox was doing great and then Asha Sharma showed up and ruined it. What I'm saying is, it's like if you're on the Titanic, okay, and it's sinking, and you're like, what if we switch the captain? That's not gonna change much. And the captain comes out and goes, listen, I understand you. The water is icy. I feel that. Wouldn't you like a commemorative Titanic coin? We're not changing anything. The business is failing. And so finally, as of like a day ago, the other shoe dropped and gamers became more aware of what's actually happening with this business. And Asha Sharma announced 3,000 layoffs and 5 studios getting spun off or closed or sold. And that is the more real understanding of where the Xbox business is currently. 20% of the employees just got laid off, massive restructure, and additionally, they also raised the price of the console. Now that's mostly Sam Altman, but understand that it's happening to everybody and everybody's getting pissed about it. I think you need to understand the scope of the business. This is what we're heading into. Phil Spencer, the last head of Xbox, back in 2017 had a plan. I'm gonna make Xbox the Netflix of gaming. We are going to make this online Game Pass subscription service that's gonna be available everywhere and it's gonna have all the games on it and everyone's gonna subscribe and pay us money every month. It's gonna be huge. And to win that war, he's like, well, we need content. We need a lot of content. So they spent $80 billion of Microsoft's money. This came from basically 2 places, Windows and Minecraft. They took all the Minecraft money and some of the Windows money and said, okay, we're gonna dump this on buying every studio we can. And this will work because once we have all the games, everyone has to subscribe to Game Pass. That was the plan. And in 2023, when they were in a lawsuit over buying Activision Blizzard, a document leaked that showed their internal idea of how much Game Pass would grow. This is that document, okay? And in this document, they basically said, by 2030, we will have 100 million Game Pass subscribers, which, if you're doing the math and analyzing here, means that right now they should have 77 million subscribers. What did they actually get in that time? It turns out it shrunk. They are currently sitting at 30 million subscribers. So they spent ungodly amounts of money for Game Pass to shrink. Understand that that is not a great business. So even though you could go back even farther and blame fucking Dan Matrick, who was the previous head of Xbox, who launched Xbox One with TV, Call of Duty Sports, and was a huge, loss of their lead from the Xbox One generation. Really, this is the problem with modern X. This lost them everything. They spent too much money, and now Microsoft is like, we're done. And now I have to lay people off and cut back. By the way, fun aside, Don Matrick story. This is a former guy that worked for him posting on Blue Sky a few days ago. He basically said, I used to work for Don Matrick, and I demoed Halo 4 for him, and I showed him when the Mantis showed up with its cool new intro vignette. And then Don raised his hand and said to the group, hey, has anyone here played Diablo 3? What if we copied their real money auction house for campaign mech skins? And then everyone around him had to pretend it was a groundbreaking idea, even though they all knew it was stupid because he's the executive. So understand that this type of culture is at the root of, bad leadership after bad leadership after bad leadership. People are afraid to speak up, and then bad decisions make it really far. So again, all these studios are either getting spun out, going indie, or shutting down. But understand that Xbox did go the extra mile here to not just shut them down. They gave them the ability to stand on their own. The problem is, once you buy a studio and you take over all of its salaries and you start paying for all of its bills, then when you pull that money out, even if you go, oh, they're indie now, they're probably gonna die. Flash forward a few months, many of these studios will close. It'll just not be Xbox's fault because they washed their hands of it. So they're shutting down. Ninja Theory and Labs are being sold. Arcane Studios' fate's unclear. And even other studios that weren't mentioned in this announcement are also being affected. For example, IOI, a studio that made Hitman that I really like, is having to shut down a studio, lay off people, and change their future plans because Xbox was funding a game with them called Project Fantasy, and now they're not funding it. And now IOI is like, well, we can't fund it ourselves, and it's dying. So again, IOI is still alive. They had a great James Bond game release, but they are hurting because of Xbox pulling back from all fronts on all this money they had promised or put out. Where does that leave us? Now look, this is not all Xbox's fault. Some of it is them reacting to things, but their larger strategy has failed, which is why gamers see them as shooting themselves in the face. But because they're shooting themselves in the face so hard, it has opened up an opportunity, because the end goal of every gaming company, they love to do this, is shoot themselves in the face. But they can't do it if there's too much competition, because then they'll lose. But because Xbox has done it so hard and has truly lost all ground and is set up for real failure in the gaming console industry going forward, it leaves an opportunity for Sony to shoot themselves in the face. Because Sony, seeing their chance, can now jump in. Sony, first AI situation, raised their price. Obviously, there's this extenuating circumstance of AI, but gamers are rightfully upset that a console that is now 6 years old is more expensive than it launched. This has never happened before. It's different than any PlayStation. People are they're gonna be upset with that no matter who you tell them to blame. Whether it's Sam Altman or otherwise, people are upset. Additionally, they announced recently that they are getting rid of the physical disk drive on future PlayStation consoles. The end of ownership. And people are up in arms and angry about this. Now, it's a nuanced situation because, as with most gamers, their voice, the things they yell about, are much bigger than their actions. Because the truth is that most gamers buy purely digital, even on PlayStation. That's just the vast majority of people. However, rationally, they would still like physical to be an option, because in their mind, it is just a benefit, which is true. Even if you don't buy every game physical, having it as an option is a generally positive for you. You don't lose anything. The only benefit is to the console company. 3% of gaming revenue comes from from physical sales. So it's not a lot, but it has a few key bonuses. Number one, it allows collectors. Some people are. It allows for the preservation of media, which is good. Number two, Sony has pretended support it in the past.
This is how you share your games on PS4.
Thanks.
You can't make that ad and then be like, why is everyone so upset when we get rid of physical media? Do you understand? Like, you can't have it both ways. And then, of course, recently, if you're a big fan of the wonderful movie for all ages, Paddington 2, and you happen to live in the UK, and you happen to have bought this movie on the PlayStation Store for digital copy, it's been removed from your account. You can't watch it anymore. You paid full price. You thought you had it, now it's gone. They took it away. And that is a fear that people have in a post-physical media era, where the complex web of licenses and music licenses and TV licenses and could lead to a game that you thought you owned being pulled away. Now, it hasn't happened for a game yet, to my knowledge, on any PlayStation game on the store, but there's a sense that it's the direction things could be going. It's got people uneasy. Sony, in response to all of this negative consumer backlash, has disappeared. It's like 8 days now. They have not said a word on social media. They're just riding it out, bro. They've gone completely blank. This is the longest they've gone without posting. They're just like dodging. And they're pairing this with another interesting decision. In the past few years, it's been secretly the best thing in gaming to be a PC/Nintendo Switch gamer, because quietly, you could get all of the Steam games, plus all of the Xbox games, plus all of the PlayStation games. Because Sony thought, well, our competition is Xbox, so we can release games on PC and it's not a problem. They realized, oh fuck, people are just not gonna buy consoles anymore. All of the PlayStation exclusives were coming out on PC, and then people were like, wait, they're just pulling back from consoles. PC gaming growth has outstripped console for the past decade, which is like completely unprecedented. PC gamers have gone from being like outside of the box to being way more mainstream. PC gaming is hugely growing. And so now Sony is pulling back because they realized even if they sell well on PC, it's hurting us long term. So in the future, big PlayStation exclusives are going to be PlayStation only. This, coincidentally, loops back to the beginning because they're also pulling back from China. They're trying to run from some of these big mega trends. And they've realized their biggest enemy is not Xbox, who are now basically dead or dying. It's Valve. Valve has gone from this like niche company on the edge of gaming to being the 800-pound gorilla. They are the titan. PC gaming is the titan of like mainstream gaming. And Sony is now more worried of them. Which is why, if we look over at Valve, they're kind of shooting themselves too. Although in this case, it's really more of a shot to the abdomen. Valve, more than anything, they've built a really successful store and they're sort of riding that. And they have, more than any other yacht-owning billionaire, the largest army of defenders that I've ever seen, okay? Despite having like mathematically a monopoly, like definitional proportion of PC gaming sales, people really don't want to criticize them, which is fine because the consumer hasn't been hurt yet. Maybe Gabe Newell's protected them, okay? That's fine. But the deal is they are still under the same larger mega trends as everyone else. And that's caused consumers who really wanted a $500 PC for the living room to basically play games like, I don't know, Mecha Chameleon or Friendslop or new indie games on Steam easily and cheaply without thinking about it with a PC in the living room. That's what they wanted. Instead, they got a $1,049 Gabe Cube that, by the way, doesn't come with a controller and is already prone to red lines of death like an Xbox. And as an extra fuck you, okay, I'll just say it, they haven't released any games in a while. Especially not Half-Life 3. Just finish Half-Life 3, okay? I know you're making infinite money. Make a game. Make a real game. Deadlock's been in early access for 100 years, bro. Put a game out. Put a release out. But I do want to say, I don't know if I mentioned this, but it's worth being said. PC has been leading the growth. Basically, you're either Roblox, you're China, or you're PC gaming with like the massive wave of indie games like Mecha Chameleon, which just outsold Mario Kart World. In less than a month, Mecha Chameleon sold 15 million copies. Do you understand how crazy that is? Now look, it's way less cost. It's like $7, $6, but that's still astronomical. The ability of games made by solo dev to hit word of mouth and do insane numbers is changing the whole gaming industry. I mean, remember when Ubisoft tried to launch the first quadruple A game? Skull and Bones, and they super hyped it up, and then it launched, and then like 18 people played it, and they had to drop this price to $2. Like, the world has changed. There was a time in the past, in like 2010 or whatever, where just the sheer, I don't know, graphical fidelity, the marketing spend would give you a certain amount of leverage. You get a certain amount of player base just by the virtue of your size. That doesn't matter anymore. The game has to be fun to play. Nothing else matters. So that's honestly a positive, but understand that it's shaking up the industry pretty dramatically. Steam game releases have never been higher. Chasing this new money, again, it's still a lottery ticket, don't get me wrong. The amount of games you're competing with is astronomical. 20,000 releases in 2025, and it's more this year. But it still offers an opportunity. Again, this guy was making games called Death Burger for $2 before, and now he has one of the biggest games in the world, changing his life financially forever. Does it matter? Will the GameCube be successful? Probably at this price point, no. But if RAM prices go down, or if SteamOS catches on in smaller or cheaper form factor ways, Valve may soon have a domination not only of the PC market, but also the console market. Their ability to monetize their store on a couch method will become the most compelling value proposition in gaming pretty soon. It's gonna cut through Windows and hurt Xbox, and it's gonna cut past Sony and hurt PlayStation. So it's probably the biggest threat going on in gaming right now. The only person who's not really worried about it is the guy in the corner doing their own thing, Nintendo. But Nintendo is always on some level shooting itself in the face. But really, it's shooting its customers in the face. Nintendo, on the edge of the room, has just realized they've got a monopoly on whatever it is Nintendo is. Whatever that unique Nintendo magic is, they've signed it, stamped it, packaged it up. No one else has it, and they are slowly but surely raising the prices on it. However, I will say, like Steam, Nintendo's not really as bad as Sony as Xbox here. Maybe it's a shot in the foot, because even as RAM prices have gone insane, Nintendo has made the smallest increase in their console price, a mere $50, and they announced it 4 months in advance with warning to give you time to buy it cheaper earlier. They did the best they could on that. The real problem is the games. Nintendo was the first to break the $80 barrier on games with Mario Kart World. They keep re-releasing, or like releasing, they look like the same, they're not a re-release, but new Pokemon games look like shit. For $70. And of course, they were releasing games like Star Fox, remakes. But if you like that, they provide it to you. And they've been doing pretty well. I don't want to downplay. Nintendo Switch 2 is the fastest selling console in Nintendo history. It is outselling the PlayStation 4 and 5 at the same periods in their sales process. It's an incredibly successful console. But here's the problem. Their stock in the last year has been cut in half. Why? If it's selling so well, why is the company getting hammered? The truth is, Nintendo's shooting itself in the face because they haven't released any good games. Or not enough. The attach rate of a Nintendo Switch console is remarkably low. The previous one, I think, had like 3.7 games per Switch console owner. This one has like 2.1. People don't know what to buy. And the market, I mean, analysts who don't even know anything about gaming are like, hey, where's the big Mario game? Where's the big Zelda game? If you're not going to give us one, we're selling the stock. So analysts and consumers are hand in hand on this one. At their prices, it's not working. They have to figure that out pretty soon. At the core end of the day, outside of prices and China and Roblox and everything, the core of the gaming business is make a game people like and they buy it. Nintendo has gotten everything around that locked and done. The game itself, they need to do more of at a quicker pace. That leaves us with only two people on the chart, EA and Ubisoft. Now, these companies I almost didn't include, because here's the deal. EA and Ubisoft have been shooting themselves in the face for so long, they don't have a face to shoot. When it comes to EA, they've made it part of their brand so that their consumers don't even care. If you're an EA purchaser, it's like you signed up for this. You didn't expect anything different. They've built a brand for it. They own it. But they did do a couple things recently that I thought were worth pointing out. Number one, they're launching EA advertising, which is a way for brands to advertise directly into gameplay. It's a marketplace to literally just buy ads within your gameplay live. Which is like a new level of EA. And of course, they got bought out by a massive Saudi conglomerate, so I'm sure it's not gonna get better from here. But Ubisoft, I wanted to give a special mention to, because Ubisoft, honestly, in all of these memes that have been going on Reddit about everybody shooting themselves, Ubisoft should honestly be honored to be included. At this point, In the big 2-6, Ubisoft should be honored they're even remembered or mentioned. If you guys don't know, some of you are older, maybe you're millennial, maybe you're older Gen Z, you still think of Ubisoft as one of these big gaming companies. The truth is, Ubisoft is about to go bankrupt. Ubisoft is down 91% in the past 5 years. This is their profit and loss. It's over. If the world's first quadruple A game couldn't save them, they don't have anything left. So honestly, if you liked Ubisoft games, shed a single tear, do a salute. It's over. They've been fully punished. They're not abusing the consumer. The consumer has just given up on them. They can't sell a game and they will soon be gone. So what does this mean for the state of gaming? I know this is kind of a negative look at all these executive decisions in gaming, but I do want to say, really, when I think about it, gaming has almost never been in a better spot. I think gaming's actually incredible. It's just that things are changing so rapidly that all of the old systems that have been built up are crumbling in real time. And in a world where that means game developers lose their job and consumers are forced to change established habits, it does suck. It is negative. But there are more great games being released by a diverse set of developers than ever. You really have an abundance of choice. It is good, but in the meantime, it's going to be quite a bit of upheaval as these massive megatrends and the stupidity of leaders combine to break down everything we thought gaming was from 2010. That's my update on the state of gaming. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Big A is on a bit of hiatus in July, intermittent, while I figure out, health stuff and life and everything else, other goals. But coming back soon. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you.